The culture in South Africa is that you work until you retire. Unfortunately, by the time you retire, there really isn't much left for those that you leave behind. Today, I have a sit-down conversation with Tshego Kekana, who is the Managing Director and founder of Alpha Destinies Communications. In the years that I've known Tshego, she has been a PR agent for numerous corporate businesses and has worked on amazing campaigns. And to see her move into her own business just before lockdown happened and thriving during this time is really amazing. Since it's still Women's Month, I wanted to talk about what it's like for women in this space, especially during the time of COVID. And also talk to Tshego about how she is owning her life and her business during this time.
I kinda like you.
Hey Owning This Life family, it's me MJ again with another episode of Owning This Life. Today we are sitting with someone that I've known for quite some time, but he's also moved into her own business and is doing amazing things in the PR space. I want you to welcome Tshego to the show today. Tshego, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. How has lockdown and COVID been treating you in the last few months?
It has been very challenging in the beginning because I resigned and immediately after resigning, COVID hit and it was lockdown and, leaving my full-time job with 5 clients that are waiting for me and then a month later down to 1. So COVID was quite challenging at first, but we pushed and we just survived through it. We're still surviving through it.
Yeah, I know we had a conversation a few months ago when you said you were resigning and you're starting your own thing.
Yeah.
And I know you've been traveling quite a bit as well. How have you had to shift your mindset with regards to work and the traveling and all of that since lockdown has happened?
I miss traveling.
Yeah.
Like, I think my passport still needs more stamps.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time that we got to spend at home because that time then came with time to read, time to do self-evaluation, self-introspection, and also time to re-evaluate my business as well in terms of where do I want my business to be in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
So I appreciated the time because in times of adversity, you need to find opportunity.
Yes.
So it was either you sit and wait and see what's going to happen post-COVID or you make the best out of the bad situation, as dark as it is. So I miss the traveling. I really, 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 really do because I love to, I love especially traveling across the continent. I was saying to you earlier, I was supposed to be in Ghana this July, but because of COVID, we couldn't do it. So it's okay because it's preparing us for something better that's going to come. And I believe that using the time to prepare yourself mentally, physically, emotionally for whatever that's about to come.
Yeah. So you've been in the PR space for quite a few years. I think I met you a couple of years back when you were working with one of the other clients that we work with. Yeah. How did you end up getting into the PR space in the first place? Because I feel like a lot of people in high school who are planning to study or whatever don't really recognize what PR actually is and the ever-changing world that it is now.
Yeah. So I knew I wanted to do PR. Well, I knew I wanted to do events when I was still in high school. And when I went to study, I looked at the information around PR, public relations. And when I saw the information on it and what it came with, and it would say that you'll be working with people, you'd be working with media, and that for me was me.
Yeah.
That was exactly what I wanted to do. It really aligned with who I am and where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I studied public relations. I went on to also study digital marketing and marketing management. And I've never turned back. I love it. I'm passionate about it.
No, I can tell, especially because you're still so busy now.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're not necessarily slowing down, which is a good thing. It means that you're really good at what you do. I want to find out from you, I know that coming into a new business, and I mean, you're really starting out your own thing now. What are the challenges other than COVID that you think that you faced so far And what is the thing that actually brought you into wanting to go into business on your own?
Okay. Oh, it's a couple of things. So, firstly, I've been in PR for about 10 years now. And there were many times when I would sit in corporate at work, you know, and would have a brainstorm session, and you would think of all these ideas that are mostly futuristic, and then you'd be, but where you are and the company that you're working for is not ready for all these big ideas. So I wanted to do more, and I was in a box, and I couldn't really expand the way I wanted to expand. And even if you'd come up with these great ideas, then you find that the company is actually not ready for it, you know. So that was the first thing. I wanted to do more. I wanted to expand. I felt like I was, you know, I got to a point where I learned everything I needed to learn. And I just wanted to build from what I've learned. So the challenge was that wanting to do more and not getting the opportunity to do it. The other challenge was, what is it? I mean, venturing out on your own is, now you are the admin person, you are the driver, you are the finance person, you are. So there's I mean, working from corporate, we used to have our own laptops, we used to have Wi-Fi, a Wi-Fi router. If your laptop crashed, you get one replaced easily. If you had IT issues, there was an IT person there. You know, there was no... The things that needed to be taken care of were taken care of, and you had to focus on the work. So now you are doing everything. You need to plan your time properly. I thought resigning to focus on my job, my business full time, would give me more time to myself. I was so wrong. It does not happen at all. Actually, I realized I needed more help. I realized I needed more help. Because Alpha Destiny is not my only business. You know, I've got another business, and I've got a women empowerment organization. So then with having to manage the three, it's like, okay, so where do I start? Where do I go? What do I do? You know, and also I still want to travel. So I'm still looking for opportunities that are out there for the business. So the challenges came in having to find yourself within being an entrepreneur, find yourself within running a business, you know, and also detaching yourself from being an employee to being an employer, and, you know, you have nobody that you report to. So I had to find myself, well, I had to be in a position where I needed an accountability partner at the same time. And fortunate enough, you know, I found somebody who became a business partner, even though he's in Ghana, but he became that support system. And because there's nobody else that you report to. So you would want somebody that can keep you accountable, who can push you, who can give you ideas on how to expand your business, you know, and then he came with that. Also, the challenge is, I would say, finances. But I used my salary to build my business. So I built my business while I was working. So I used my salary at the time, because I started my business in 2016. To do, my plan was just lay the foundation. So register, do the website, do the logos, everything, the admin part of it. Just lay that foundation, get it done, so that when you venture out on your own, you have a running business that's operational.
And everything is there.
Yeah, those are a few of the challenges.
So I know you have a daughter, and now it's everyone is at home. You have now these three businesses. How are you finding balance in between all of this? Because like you said, running your own business, it means that you're doing everything from end to end. And how do you manage your time better and make sure that you have time for yourself, time for your businesses, and time for family time?
So it's all about balance, finding a work-life balance. So firstly, my daughter doesn't live with me. She lives with my parents in Pretoria. And then I had to find a schedule. I have to, you know, put a schedule together for myself. So during the week, during the day is work. So from 9 o'clock in the morning till whatever time I get to finish work, I dedicate that time to work. I work from home. I've got an office at home. So I sit in my office. I close the door, literally, And even though in the whole house I'm alone, but I close the door so I can just focus on work. And then from like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., I have a knock off time, you know. So even though you have nobody that's saying you have to start work, you have to just discipline yourself. So I have a knock off time, and then when I knock off, I close my laptop, I lock the office door, and that's me and my couch in the evening, and I get to relax and do whatever it is that I want to do in the evening. And then on weekends, it's family time. So that's when I get to see my daughter. Sometimes she comes and stays for the week, you know. So I balance that time. And the other thing that I started doing is I don't like doing dinner meetings. You know, as entrepreneurs, there's no working time, you know. So I avoid dinner meetings because by God's grace, I'm going to be married one day. I don't think my husband would appreciate me having dinner meetings, you know. So I try to start that routine now, and discipline myself to say, if it's not necessary for us to meet for dinner, then we're not going to meet for dinner. You know, the latest can be like a 6 o'clock meeting. That's the latest, and if at all necessary. So I put those measures in place to help me also find that balance and be able to stay sane. Yeah.
Because it's difficult to stay sane as an entrepreneur. But what I like is the fact that you've already kind of structured yourself in, because I think as an entrepreneur, our tendency is to want to just keep going and going and going, especially if you're working more than one business, and then you have all of these other things that need your time, but you're so focused on doing work that you can't give any of that other stuff time. So now we're in the time of COVID, we're trying to get past COVID. When COVID is done, what do you think what do you want your business to look like, and what do you want you to look like through this experience? Because I feel like this time has kind of made us all be forced to sit in a corner and figure ourselves out, figure out who we are, why we're even doing the things that we're doing. And I think a lot of people have even questioned their jobs in this time. Where do you see yourself after this, emotionally, mentally, business-wise, in every area of your life?
So I'm working on building my personal brand. The thing about being in PR is that you build other brands, you build people's brands, you know, and we don't necessarily focus on us. So I am focusing on building my brand. I'm writing a book that tells about my life story thus far, which is the life of a hustler, a female hustler. You know, I think it's a story that a lot of women would need to hear, because we're not known as hustlers as women. We are just known as mothers
and caretakers
and nurturers, you know. But my life story is one of a hustler, as a woman who's really, really hustled her way through life. So I'm trying to use this time to write my book, and hopefully it will be done by next year. For the business, the exciting part about Alpha Destiny is that it's an integrated marketing and communications business. So we are doing a lot that is more futuristic in terms of content creation, storytelling. You know, the way what we do is that we take a brief, and then we can come up with various channels in which you can implement whatever it is that implement your messaging. You know, so the future of Alpha Destiny is more futuristic. It's more innovative in terms of how we are driving our content. You know, one of the newest services that we are providing is gamification. So we are gamifying content. So we're making content much easier to read, where at the end of the day you get custom engagement and it drives leads, and that's what most marketing agencies are looking for. So we are doing user-generated content through gamification, and everything that we are doing is going to be quite innovative and futuristic, and I can't wait for people to actually see what we're about. We haven't officially launched our business yet, so we are still the underground gang. We're still finding our feet, even though we landed our biggest client, Kellogg's South Africa, quite recently in this year in April. So we've already spoken about, you know, what the future holds and what we'll be doing for Kellogg's. So I'm excited about that, because even the work that we do for Kellogg's is not just public relations. It's more marketing, design. You know, it's things that I've always wanted to do. You know, that PR didn't give me the opportunity to do. So the future looks great for the business. We are going to officially launch the business next year. Launch it to the world to say this is who we are, this is what we're about, and you know, these are the services that we provide. So I think that a lot of businesses will need our services, especially if it's businesses that are thinking about the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of PR is still living in the past.
Yes.
And we are in a very new time now.
Yes, exactly.
I want to talk a little bit about this woman empowerment. Is it is it NGO that you have?
NPO.
An NPO. Tell me a little bit about it, why you started it, and what you do.
Okay, the Lioness movement.
Yeah.
That's the name. The Lioness movement is a movement that empowers women to be strong in all the aspects of their life. So it's not just about business. It's not just about family or you as it's actually you as a woman from a 360 perspective.
Yeah.
So you as a mom, you as a businesswoman, you as a career woman, a sister, whatever, a wife, whatever the case may be. So what we do is it's a support network of women. We support each other. We've got women who have been abused in their previous marriages and relationships, you know, and we are there to just talk about it and support one another. What we do is that we also give back. So we are currently doing a gender-based violence campaign where we are getting women to write letters about their experiences, but we're also getting men to write letters about their experiences as well. The thing about the Lioness movement is that it does not exclude men. Men are a part of us. They're a part of our lives. They're our husbands. They are our brothers.
Yeah.
They are our uncles. You know, so it's not the type of movement that excludes men.
Yeah.
We actually have an event that we were supposed to host now in August, but because of COVID we can't. But the event is titled Lunch with the Lions. So we see our men as our lions, you know, so we want to have conversations with them. So it's a support network of women where we support each other in all aspects of our lives, but we give back to the community in terms of, you know, there's a project that we're going to start in helping women who are drug addicts, especially young women who are drug addicts. So our purpose is to support those that need the support, you know, and to be pillars to one another. We also have events that we do. So we have our wine sessions. Our wine sessions, that's when we come as a group and we just talk about our experiences as women. So we get speakers within ourselves where they talk about, this is what I went through, you know, in my life. This is how my marriage ended, or this is how I gave birth. These are the challenges that I faced. And then in that space, we advise each other on how best we can improve our lives. So the whole purpose is to improve ourselves, empower ourselves, strengthen each other as a collective, and, you know, to have better lives and to be better versions of ourselves. Yeah. So we have a Facebook page, the Lioness Movement. We have an Instagram page, and we also have a WhatsApp group that has about 50 members currently.
In doing this, do you find that as South African women in particular, we have this culture of, if I'm struggling with something, I'm not necessarily going to speak to the next person about it because I don't need them to know my business. I think especially when you're an entrepreneur and you have a family and you're having home issues or whatever the case may be, do you find that it's more difficult for those type of people to come out and speak?
Yeah, it is, definitely. Actually, as you mentioned it, I was watching somebody, my mentor said to me, he always said, and I'm sorry if I'm digressing, but he always says, I see you. And he would send a message and say, I see you. So it got to a point where I said to him, why do you always say that? Why do you say, I see you? And he said, people normally, especially strong people, don't want to be seen because we struggle with being vulnerable, you know? So he sent me a link to a YouTube video. It was a TikTok by Brene Brown. Yeah. It's called The Power of Vulnerability. So now the problem is that we are strong, right? We want to be strong. We don't want to be seen as weak. We don't want people to know our business, you know, even though we are struggling, but you don't want to talk to the next person. And that is you not being able to be vulnerable. And the thing about allowing yourself to be vulnerable to the next person is that you're opening up yourself to this person and you are asking for help, right? And you won't know what advice this person can give you.
Yes.
The advice that this person can give you is something that you never thought of. Because the thing about the misconception of being strong is that we've got all the answers.
Yeah.
You can do it on your own. You don't need help. And you don't realize that actually, I do need help. Actually, I do need. That's why I said to you earlier that as an entrepreneur, you feel like you can do everything on your own.
Yeah.
And you don't delegate, you don't ask for help. And that's where we tend to fail. Because at some point, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to speak. Even if you don't tell everybody your problems, but tell somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody that you trust. Somebody you know that, you know, they can give you good advice. Even if you tell 3 people, you know, but you know that out of these 3 people, I will have the right answers and I will be able to be a better person or do things better. So for me, it's about allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to just be weak. It's okay to be weak.
And I don't even think it's necessarily being weak. It's showing your strength by being vulnerable.
Exactly.
Because that's the only way you can actually accept the help and advice that you need from the people who can actually assist you. So I ask all of my guests that sit here one question. And for you, I think it's interesting because you are so invested in everything you do, but at the same time, it reflects a lot of who you are. So in saying that, I want to know, what does owning your life mean to you?
Okay. Owning my life to me means owning my time and my freedom. Being able to do everything that I want to do. Be able to dream and be able to reach my dreams and work towards my dreams. So owning my life means being out of the box.
Yeah.
I don't operate well inside a box.
Yeah, I think those of us who do these kind of things, none of us operate in a box. The box wasn't designed for us.
It's not designed for us at all, at all, at all. So owning my life means owning my time, owning my peace, owning my space, and being able to do everything that I ever wanted to do.
Yeah. My final question, I want to know, so the way that you run business, everything that you do, and owning your time and your space and not existing for the box, is that what you want to teach your daughter when she grows up to do? Because I find, as a parent myself, you end up defaulting to your own upbringing, which means conform to the box. How do you think you're going to teach her to live her own truth?
I think I'm the type of mother that allows her to be whoever that she wants to be. So, of course, we have that conversation, even though she's 5 years old.
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up, you know? And I think as parents, by default, you'd say, don't you want to be a doctor? Yeah. Don't you want to be... by default, you know?
Yeah.
But she says, I want to be a dancer, you know? So, for me, it's about... My parents never stood in the way of who I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. My parents don't understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Both of them are not. But they never said, just get a job, you know. For them, it was like, as long as you make money, it's okay.
As long as you can feed yourself.
As long as you can feed yourself, it's okay, you know. So, but what I like about that is that they've never dictated on how I should live my life. And I think that is exactly what I want for Kanya, for my daughter. I don't want to dictate on how she wants to live her life. If she wants to be a dancer and do it professionally one day, so be it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the type of parent who will say you need a degree, you need to, no, I'm not a systemized type of person. Do whatever it is that you need to do to live the dream and the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
And I will support you. But obviously, I'm not going to condone things like drugs and partying and all of that. Yeah. But I think I would allow her to do whatever it is that she wants to do and support her in it.
Yeah. And we live in a time now where the prominent jobs that used to be prominent 10, 20 years ago have changed quite dramatically.
Yeah.
You know, we don't live in the same time anymore.
We don't at all. At all. At all.
Okay, thank you so much. We
That's it?
Yeah,
Really?
no, because we have to keep to the time limit, unfortunately.
Okay.
But thank you so much for your time.
Sure.
I see the amazing things that you're doing. And honestly, I don't even think you realize this, but from a distance, you're inspiring a lot of us to just keep going. Because we know, I mean, for me being an entrepreneur, I know as a woman especially, and a woman of color in South Africa, it's a little harder to get yourself forward. But when we see people like you who are doing the most, and even coming out of the industry that you come out to start your own things and running 3 businesses and spacing your time out, you're kind of motivating us to just keep going and pushing through our dreams. I really appreciate you for coming all this way just to speak to little old me.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Owning This Life family, for tuning into the show today. I really hope that Tshego spoke to you and helped you navigate where it is you need to be in your life right now, especially during COVID. Having your dreams and your purpose fulfilled can still happen even though you were still at home. Just manage your time and make sure that you are following through what your heart is telling you to do. If you need any more information on the show, you can log on to www.owningthislife.co.za and you can email us on info@owningthislife.co.za if you have any suggestions. You can also follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. And remember to tune in next week for the next show.